Namaskar and welcome to this show, Sathology Debunking Mythology. All our attempt is to present you from different speakers a certain aspect of Sanatan Dharma or truth. We call it the science of truth. There is no mythology here. Mythology means, uh, fake or imaginary or something which has no historical basis, and that is mostly propaganda. But for us, Valmiki Ramayana is a historical fact. I don't care about dating of Ramayana much because that has nothing to do with my faith. I go by who wrote Ramayana, written by Valmiki, inspired by Brahma, and so they cannot write a fiction story. So today we have a great speaker with us, a very knowledgeable gentleman. You have seen him before, you liked his videos, and I would like to welcome back Sri Yashendra Prasad. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Hanuman ji.
So we'll start off with you gave a very good talk last time on Hanuman, and you tried to explain scientifically what is a Vanara, and you said that it cannot be just a monkey because of the facts which are there. Now this time we want to go a little bit different side. That first of all, uh, tell me like he's the two things we read from Valmiki Ramayana, that Bhagwan Ram had a very strongly built body and he was constantly exercising. Was he the inspiration behind Hanuman? That Hanuman is into exercises and danda and pel, which is the core form of exercises which are taught in the Vedic culture. Vyayam.
Yeah, definitely. But we also have to see that, Hanuman was coming from the Banar community.
Mm,
And this entire community used to live in forest.
mm,
Forest, and, caves. That's mountainous area. Kishkinda, as we know, there are, hilly areas, caves were there. And it's a forest area. And Hanuman also. Uh, Hanuman Ramayana itself, there is Ramayana which is written by Hanuman himself. Some parts of it are available. Hanuman introduces himself in one of the lines that he's adept at moving on branches, on tree branches, like the Vanaras are, the Kapi, the Vanaras. So obviously they were naturally they had very strong body, and apart from that, Hanuman was very special. So he must have you know done exercises, yogasanas basically. And apart from that, he had siddhis. Hanuman had siddhis. Now, siddhis give you power over matter. Like he had Akash Gaman Siddhi. He could fly. He had the siddhi. These siddhis. Siddhis are accomplishments of these are technologies which you acquire those capabilities in your body and mind. So these are mentioned in Patanjali Yoga Sutras also. So, he had the power, Anima Siddhi. Anima Siddhi means you can reduce your body to minutest of particles. So small that you can enter into an atom also, or even at molecular structure. You can penetrate that. And Garima Siddhi is exactly the opposite. You can make your body so big, as big as you want. So these rare Ashta Siddhi now Nidhi ke data, you know, so eight siddhis, eight main siddhis he had. So obviously he had tremendous control over matter. Matter includes his own body and mind. So he was something very special. And also his, genetic makeup, the community and the lifestyle, they all make him very physically very strong.
No, that's a great point you mentioned, and also when you in your last point you mentioned the Vanara as a Manushya Jati mostly mentioned there, and then he definitely had a chance Anima, Lagima, Prapti, Siddhi. These are different siddhis are there which you see him performing many times. Now, this in today's time, we had a program, and I keep telling our students here in USA that Hanuman is one of the Hanuman and Durga are one of the most popular deities, and after that you have Ganesh and Shiva across India, and all of them are somewhere connected with. Someone is connected to Ram, someone is connected to Shiva, or Shivji is doing mantra Om Namo Narayana. He chants that mantra mentioned in Bhagavatam, but all of them are very very popular across India, and the Hanuman is the one which is probably the most popular across the world, even South America. So where did that story, legend of Hanuman, reach South America?
Now, from different texts, we have a story of Hanuman's biography about the life story of Hanuman. In that we find that he had a son. He had a son called Makardhwaj. His name was Makardhwaj. Now there are various kinds of stories. The most popular, which people know, is that his while he was crossing Lanka, his sweat, it fell in the mouth of a fish, and the fish became pregnant, and the child which was born was named Makar. But there is another book treatise which is more like more closer to reality. Like people will be surprised that Hanuman was married. Hanumanji was married, and in South India there are so many temples of Hanumanji with his wife. So one of and most probably his wife was Sugriva's daughter, and but unfortunately she expired at the time of first childbirth. This is what we gather from Parashar Smriti, and many other books are there in my research, because I'm working on a project to make a biographical film on Hanuman, and I'm looking for funds to make it possible. In this research, I have discovered all these things. So she expired at the time of the first childbirth, and Hanumanji didn't marry again. So this child, at that time, what happened? Ravan was reigning supreme, and Ravan had control. His regions were placed in South India and Central India also. Like Kharadushan, if you know we all know the name, which were eliminated by Ram later. Kharadushan were controlling Ravana's regions over entire Central India up to Vindhya mountains. Up to they had so much influence, they could over entire Dandakaranya, the Maharashtra, Nasik area, Madhya Pradesh, right, the central state of India right now, South Bihar, even up near Patna, Buxar. Buxar is the place where Vishwamitra Ashram was here, and there people used to come and disturb Vishwamitra. That's why he brought Ram from Ayodhya. And very surprisingly, when Vishwamitra went to King Dashrath, to ask Ram and Lakshman, Dashrath said, he preferred, to come himself, instead of sending his sons. But he said, but if your enemy is Ravan, then please don't ask me to come, because nobody can fight Ravan. So Dashrath states this. If you read Yoga Vasishta, then we can't counter him. Nobody can counter Ravan. And Kharadushan were his regions. Now the story is that Makardhwaj, when he grew up, he fell in the hands of Kharadushan. He was a nice person, but everybody looks for a job, and Makardhwaj are also very strong person. As we see later also in the story, the Makardhwaj are very strong. So he was appointed, they sent him to South America, Patal Loka. Patal Loka, which is mentioned in Ramayana, is most probably South America, because if you see the globe, it's exactly almost opposite to India, if you see the globe. So he was made security officer, security in charge of Ahiravan. He was a distant brother of Ravan, not his own brother, but his cousin brother. Ahiravan was the king of South America, or that part of South America. And Makarathwaj was made security in charge of that. When during the Ram Ravan war, Ahiravan comes one night and he captures Ram and Lakshman in Nagpash while they were asleep. You know, so धोखे से उसने capture कर लिया, and he took Ram and Lakshman to South America, Patal Loka, his kingdom. And then when all these people got up in Rama's camp, Bhagwan Sri Ram's camp, Hanuman, then they talked among each other. They could discover. Vibhishan helped them to find that's Ahiravan who has captured Sri Ram and Lakshman. Hanuman immediately went to Patal Loka. When he was entering the city, the capital of Patal Loka, Ahiravan's kingdom, he met Makarathwaj. Makarathwaj said, you can't enter. I'm the security in charge here. You have to fight with me. Hanuman said, but you introduce yourself. Who are you? No, he said, I'm Makarathwaj, son of Hanuman. Now Hanuman was bewildered. Oh my God, you're my son. During those times, the civilization was such, it was not, in modern times where families are so, well knit, all, different communities. So he had lost track of his son. He couldn't realize he's meeting his son. Then Makarathwaj, touched the feet of Hanuman. But Hanuman asked him, you do your duty. You are security officer and your job is to defend the capital. You fight with him. And Makarathwaj didn't want, but Hanuman, his father, asked him to fight with him. And obviously they were not fighting to kill each other, but Hanuman ji was strong enough to subdue Makarathwaj, and he entered. And when he killed Hanumanji killed Ahiravan, Ram asked him to make Makarathwaj the king of Patal Loka. So Hanumanji and Ram Lakshman, they returned to India, Bharatvarsh, but Makarathwaj became the king of Patal Loka in place of Ahiravan. And in one of the books, one of the ancient books, I have also found that later, when Ram became king and his coronation was taking place in Ayodhya, many dignitaries from all over the world were invited, and one of them was King Makarathwaj, and he also gave a short speech, about Sri Ram. So we feel that Makarathwaj became king of that area. That's why we see the connection, Hanuman connection, his temples and other things in that part of South America. And in Honduras, we have found that there is a big statue, idol of Hanuman in Honduras. And there are other places also.
Now, the Chileans, especially Chile is the southernmost state of South America. There is a Mapuche tribe there, Mapuche tribe. And till date, they accept that the monkey was their Bhagwan. It's like that. And they chant Om. It's part of the native Chilean tribe. And
we need to do research on this.
Yes, and we have a confirmation because His Holiness Atulanand Swami spoke on that, and he will not say anything like that because he's a Hare Krishna monk, sadhu from sannyasi from Chile. So he spoke on that. So I'll be going on February to Chile to verify that. So I will be living with the tribe for some time, 1 week.
We need to do genetic research also on this, because now we have got advanced scientific tools. From Kishkinda area, we can pick various types of genetic strains, DNAs, and you say Chile, Honduras, other places. Because South Americans have got strong affiliations, they are very close, they feel very close to Indians, So there must be some blood connection. I have a strong feeling, and I agree with what Swamiji has said. I have a strong inkling he's right.
No, culturally we are very similar. Food eating habits are very similar. They call it tortilla, we call it roti, and it's very similar, very, very similar. Now coming back to the youth, today the youth is creating heroes out of Hollywood and Bollywood. You know, Americans, they like to copy sports stars a lot, and the definition of heroes has drastically changed. I think it's become more external in many aspects, and there is a kind of a, you know, people may not like Devi Devta, but they might follow some film star who is just acting, and the actors kind of become the leaders. But here we have Hanuman, who has every single characteristic to be the hero of the youth, because he's strong, he's intelligent, and he's a very disciplined person. So, you know, I was very impressed by Hanuman Danda, which Baba Ramdev was teaching in one of the videos. And I saw, like, it takes some effort to do that Danda Pel, the way Hanumanji used to do. So, so when it comes to finding a real hero, how do you think Hanuman can attract the minds of our youth today, whether it's a USA or South America or even India?
See, first of all, you mentioned that actors have become heroes. This is what happens, people get attracted to who are living people. Since we do not have such persons like Hanuman today, you know, somebody acting like Hanuman or, Superman, people, get attracted. So it's a natural mass psychology. So we can't blame them. We need more people with Hanuman's characteristics. So they become Hanumanji. After all, a historical figure. He's not present. And living characters always attract people more. But nevertheless, Indian civilization, Hanuman is still one of the biggest heroes. Ram, Krishna, Hanuman, these figures among historical characters. In our among Indians, even today, their sight is mostly captured by all these figures. Whenever we are in any situation, in any aspect of life, we think about these figures. Hanuman is most important of them. So what is the characteristic of Hanuman, which makes him a hero for youth? That we have to see. The valor, you know, the greatness of a person or the strength of a person doesn't lie only in physicality. The biggest enemies of all of us are our inner negativities: ego, vanity, attachment, anger, lust. If a person can fight with these people, he will be a much greater master of everything. Because every human being, when we say, like as I had talked in one of the previous interactions with you, that when we say I, I is generally clouded or covered by our complexes. That is, we call 6 sadritus, 6 enemies. That is ego, vanity, sex in the sense of lust, attachment, vanity. These are the enemies. And whatever they say, we present them as I want, or I am saying, I feel like that. But our feeling, our comprehension, our indriyas, our perceptive faculties are guided by these enemies. We can't control them directly. To control them, Hanuman needs Ram. You need a superior beloved, Sadguru, a guru, a living person who is master of all these complexes. So Sri Ram was Purushottam, perfect man, living man, to whom Hanuman became, attached to him. He became devoted. He surrendered himself to Ram, and he started following the commands of Sri Ram without any question or doubt, without counter, unconditionally. This made Hanuman master his complexes. And how we master all these negativities, complexes, depends on how fast we execute the command of our Prabhu, our Lord. The shortest possible reaction time, and the shorter is the time, the greater we are, in mastering these complexes. So Hanuman could achieve this. So all of us, we need a living person, a Sadguru, in whom, if we are able to get somebody like Ram and Krishna themselves, it's great. Otherwise, some great saint or some Sadguru who has awakened at least some qualities of Sri Ram or some qualities of Krishna, if not all. At least he is on his path. Only such Siddha Purush, who has accomplished, enlightened person, can be a Guru, in whom we can find some attributes of Ram, if we are not able to get Ram himself. If we become attached to him and follow his commands, unquestionably, we will start mastering these complexes. And this will enable us to overcome all our problems, our conflicts in life, in all aspects of life, in our profession, in our relationship problems, in our studies, in deciding what I have to do. Like Swami Vivekananda, what did he say? He was following Ramakrishna Paramahansa. In Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he could discover Ram and Krishna. So Swami Vivekananda says, carrying out the commands of Guru with least hesitation and doubt is the only path of success. Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, what he says? Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. So that is Sri Ram. Sri Ram, Bhaj Govindam Mudhamati. Govinda, Ram and Govinda are the same in two different time periods. And Hanuman was fortunate enough to be with both of them. He spent most of his life obviously with Sri Ram, but he was living in the times of Krishna also. And he helped Krishna in Mahabharata war by being on the chariot of Arjuna. And Hanuman was expert in so many things. So what happens if we follow the example of Hanuman? And Hanuman's example is a must for youth and for every individual. That is the only path. This we must realize. If we want to overcome the negativities or the problems inside or outside us, the problems which come up in life, different aspects, we can overcome all these problems by the grace of Ram, by the grace of Guru. And that grace is not something, miraculous which, Guru gives or Ram gives you. It has to be achieved by action, doing karma. There is a word kripa in Sanskrit. Kripa, Kripa Bhagwan ki, we need his Kripa, Lord's Kripa. Now Kripa means kri, do, and pa, achieve. Do and you achieve. So unless and until Hanuman, the devotee, follows the commands of Sri Ram unquestionably, and Sri Ram's interest becomes paramount in his life, then he's able to overcome his own Ramhood. So Ram is in everybody. Every single atom, every single molecule of this creation, we know God lies within. But we do not feel that God. We do not feel that supreme power. But in Sadguru, in Sri Ram, we do find that power awakened. So if we want to awaken our latent Godhood, or Ishwara, Ishwar hamare andar hai, the Ishwar who is inside us, if we want to awaken that, we have to get attached to a living God, a living Purushottam. That is why Sri Krishna, ISKCON devotees all know about this. People know, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. I am born as a human being. Whenever there is decline of truth, righteousness, the principles of life. This is his promise. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself. The devotees have realized this. Ramakrishna Paramahansa himself was Sri Krishna. His devotees have realized this. We all, those who follow the spiritual path, we know this. So we have to be constant, on lookout for whether such an individual is present today. Who knows? Krishna might be present in a human form, and this news will not come to you on news or in newspapers. How to find him? By craving inside our heart. You know, Supreme Lord is Prabhu, Ram is connected to us. If we call him right, just like Mirabai, Mirabai had such intense longing for Sri Krishna. Mere to Gurudhar Gopal dusro no koi. Nobody is my Lord except the one who has got the peacock feather on his, you know, a crown, in his crown on his head. So such, she dedicated herself. Now Mirabai is also a very good example. Like Hanuman. Prahlad is another good example. Almost like Hanuman. Then we have got Bharat, Ram's Bharat, brother. He, he got angry with his own mother. I don't want kingdom. Ram is my Lord, my elder brother. He did. Bharat also could know that Ram is not a simple human being. As Sri Krishna also explains in Gita, avajananti mama mudham manushitanumasritam. The fools do not recognize me in human form. They do not realize this, that I am Supreme Lord of all the Lords, sages, saints, and everyone. Only with love, call of love. If we have intense longing for Him, if we say, Lord, Prabhu, we cannot live without you. We must meet you in flesh and blood. We want to meet you in body. I have seen your photographs. I have seen your images. I have read the Ramayana, Mahabharata. But I want to meet you also. Hanuman had this longing. He had this longing. Uddhav had this longing. Akrur had this longing. Prahlad had this longing. Mirabai had this longing. Tulsidas had this longing. Vivekananda had this longing. In childhood, he couldn't, stay at home, the child, with school student. Vivekananda, like he used to go in a, banana, plantations over, because he had heard that he can find Hanuman over there. So that his longing was so intense. The devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sachi Devi, all those disciples, I am forgetting their names, who were part of his fabulous kirtan. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So if you have the longing, you will find such a person. I am fully convinced about this. Whenever, if you have, your longing is there, Lord will come to you in flesh and blood. Somehow or the other, He will reach. Lord says, the sound of your call must reach me because I am sound. He knows every heartbeat, what is going on in your heart. So when we crave, we get our, Ram, we should try to become Hanuman. That is the path of life. It's just not about only you. Every person, every human being, irrespective of caste, community, race, culture, country, this is universal truth.
So you
Hanuman's path, wherever you see in all the stories, bhakti is called. You call it bhakti, you call it devotion, whatever you names you can, always choose. But Hanuman's path is the only path. If you want to solve the problems of world, that is the path. Because Lord is the only solution.
Now, Yashendra ji, so viewers, you can see a beautiful picture of Hanuman behind him, and it's a very beautiful picture out there. And the viewers, also one more thing, and that whether it's a USA, we always, like Yashendra ji also said, we are always looking for a role model. And unfortunately, we get carried away by movies and other places where these actors are taken as role models. And when you see them in private life, everyone is disappointed. And so we need real role models, not like the role models which are pretending to be someone else. And so the real heroes are obviously the incidents which these actors produce on the screen. Now, coming back to Hanuman, he is known for intellect, bodily strength, and his service to Ram, and which Yashendraji very beautifully explained. One last question to you, Yashendraji, on this topic. What and this topic is particularly meant for our students who are studying and who are trying to do something in society. They have a huge future in front of them, and there the role model of Hanuman becomes a very relevant role model, because he is a emblem of everything what the student is looking for. So what are the essential qualities that they can learn from Hanuman?
First is concentration, dedication, speed, and continuity. See, when you are studying, you are researching, you need first to focus on the topic. You can't afford to get distracted. There are so many distractions. There's money, there is so many things, there's girls and so many, you know, today's life, they have so many challenges, We have got drug problem, mind, you know, moving from this topic to that topic, we are not able to focus. We are not able to concentrate. So we need a living person. Just like Hanuman got Ram, we need such a living ideal, living somebody, Sadguru, in whom we can focus. So what will happen?
Why,
We are able
why
to
can't we say
concentrate.
that? Why can't we? Sorry, I'm interjecting here. Why can't we say that make Hanuman Ram as your ideal and then be like Hanuman? Can we do that, yes or no?
But we need a living person like Ram. Theoretically, obviously, Ram is the ideal, Sri Krishna. But unless and until you get somebody like him in a living person, see, ideas, what will happen? I'll tell you. If we just only restrict ourselves to somebody who is non-living, right now, okay, Ram is there in abstract form, then what will happen? I will start doing whatever I want in the name of Ram. Because there are millions of people, they have their own interpretations of Ram sayings, Ram's actions. They'll choose some, they will not choose some. I like certain aspects, you like certain aspects. So we will take all these decisions as per our own preconceived ideas, our own level of understanding. But if we get an enlightened person who is either him, Ram, like Ramakrishna Paramahansa or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or some Sadguru, then he will not allow us to deviate from the real truth. Then what will otherwise, for example, in the name of Ram, there are so many sects. I follow Ram my own way, you follow Ram in your own way. Common, actual action, when it comes to actual action plan, we start differing. It's a fact of life, because my interpretation is something else, your interpretation is something else. If we want to arrive at a unity, for social action, for political action, we need a living leader, a living guide, who is himself a great enlightened devotee of Ram. Like, for example, ISKCON would not have been possible had Srila Prabhupada would not have been there. His devotion to Krishna was manifested in his action, his character, his behavior. When people met Srila Prabhupada, they could get a glimpse of Sri Krishna. That's why, he could, expand as ISKCON has, expanded. Ramakrishna Paramahansa or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we need a living person, So otherwise we'll start following our own whims and desires, our own preconceived ideas that, okay, Ram was like this. I feel that this was correct way to do it. I will not choose this aspect of Ram. No. If we have to follow Ram, we have to follow in complete sent person. We can't choose. And if there is no living person to obstruct us, if there is no teacher, to chide us, scold us, no, this is not the way. Then we'll be free to do whatever we want. We'll take the name of Ram. See, I'll tell you, Ram Rajya was established when Ram was there. After that, what has happened? Entire story of Ram is there. Ramayana is there. But Ram Raj is not there because Ram is not living.
You
So
made
unless
it.
Ram, so we, and coming back to the students, focusing, concentration. Look at the concentration power of Hanuman. If Ram asks him to do something, he might be feeling, okay, no, I'll just go watch a movie. But no, he has decided he'll follow Ram unconditionally. So he will, no, I will not go to do anything else. I will obey Ram and I'll do this action. So he's focused. And slowly and slowly he starts developing his concentration power. He starts getting those powers. Secondly, focus, not deviating. Then his own negativities, he may get attracted, the devotee may get attracted, towards something else, let me make a lot of money, when I'll become recognized, then people will respect me more. Forget Ram for the time being. Hanuman was minister of Sugriva when he met Ram, so he could have wished for, to become Ram's minister instead of becoming a devotee, See, look at my, my resume, my biodata, I'm so capable, making a minister. No, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to become a devotee. I am a humble servant at the feet of the Lord. Then he acquires the speed. If he's focused, mental concentration gives you huge strength. Your physical strength increases to unknown, limits. Mind controls matter. First you control mind, your consciousness, mind, and then you can control matter. Then you can fly. You lift mountains. You can, you can break the stars. You can do whatever. Ashtasiddhi Navnidhi ke data, Asvaradini Janaki Mata. So this is what to overcome all obstacles in our studies, all outside obstacles, our inner obstacles we can achieve. We can be focused and we can achieve the goal. Be goal oriented. By hook or crook, we have to achieve the goal. When Hanumanji went to Lanka, he wanted to find out where Sita is, and at the same time, he also did something which he was actually not originally asked for, to teach Ravana a lesson. That look, I've just come here to find Sita, but I'm showing you what a servant of Ram can do.
Our time is getting up now, Yashendraji, and I know this is an unlimited topic. We can continue. And I think the youth, the message is very clear. You can understand Ram from Ramayana, and also you make someone as a living, like a guru, as a hero, and become like Hanuman. Because I think that's the biggest need of the society. And we need to find real heroes. The artificial heroes have just spoiled our life, and it doesn't make a sense. So thank you all for joining, and all the live audience who was joining us and listening to this wonderful talk by Sri Yashendra Prasad. His email and his website will be shown to you later on. And thank you all for joining. Namaskar. Have a nice day.